has happened else so far in our story? Start at the very beginning, fourth graders. Adriana?
The science squad went, the teacher gave them an assignment, and they went from Los Angeles to between Taiwan and Japan, and then
Yes.
working.
Stop there for 1 second. Awesome. So we have this group called the Science Squad. And they were given an assignment by kind of like their leader, Professor Q. And Professor Q told them that there are sick porpoises that need help. So they fly all the way from Los Angeles to, we said, between what two countries, Carly?
Taiwan and Japan.
Taiwan and Japan. They're on a small little island between those two countries. What continent did we say that is near, Taven?
It's near Asia.
It's near Asia. It's in Asia. So the countries of Japan and Taiwan are in Asia. So our group gets there, and we started talking about our group and how they work together. Are they friends that work together? Can I see thumbs up? Are they friends, or thumbs down? They don't like each other. Awesome. I should see all thumbs up, and I do. They are a team. They work together. They eat together. They travel together. They really like each other, and you can see that that works very well for them. They get a lot of stuff done together when they work as a team. So our science squad decided to go to the beach, and they met a family that had just gone snorkeling, and this is near where we ended. What did the people that were snorkeling tell the science squad? There were some observations they were making. What did they make, Costa?
That there was like really no fish in the water.
There was no fish in the water. They were snorkeling by the coral reefs, so they should have seen a lot of fish. That's probably what they were going out to snorkel for, to see all these colorful fish. What else did they see in the water, Zier?
The girl said that she saw a porpoise swim right by them, and she said that it was very skinny and looked like it was hungry, and she thought that it was going to eat her at one point.
Oh, yeah. They saw a porpoise, and she said they looked skinny, and it looked hungry. She thought the porpoise was going to come up and eat her. So what inference did we make, fourth graders? If the fish are gone and the porpoise looks very hungry, what inference can we make from those two pieces? What can we figure out, Belle?
The baby shark chased away all the fish.
We don't know anything about sharks. We don't know if the shark's there. What do the dolphins eat? Why might that dolphin look really hungry, Cooper?
Because he likes eating fish, because that's what they eat, and if they stop eating, it'll just get smaller and smaller.
Yeah, so the inference that we can make is that dolphins eat fish. So our porpoises eat fish. So we don't know that for a fact, but if our dolphin looks really hungry and the fish are gone, that's an inference we can make. So then our science squad took a water sample by the coral reefs, but this was just the water sample up at the top. So now they're going on to a fishing boat, and they're going to go get a sample of the water from deeper in the ocean. So we are going to start on page 25, reading here, and we will read together. Hello, Jada began. We were wondering what's been happening to the porpoises. A girl over there just told us the strangest story about a hungry porpoise. Well, now, I used to see quite a few, said one of the fishermen. I take out my boat Lucky Duck at exactly 4 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I used to see 4 or 5 pods of porpoises. Maybe 6 or 7 in each pod. So around 24 to 35 porpoises, Pam said. So a pod is like a group of porpoises, a group of dolphins. They swim together. You usually don't see them alone, so we call that a pod. Like a school of fish, we had a pod of porpoises. Please turn to the next page. You're right. That's exactly what I used to see. The man smiled at Cam. Jada looked up from her notes and said, "What about now?" "Well, young lady, today I only saw one pod. 3 porpoises were in that one. I also saw 2 porpoises swimming alone. That's very unusual. They had this vacant look in their eyes. It was strange." "So you saw 5 porpoises? Only 5? Cam was shocked. So they said on the page before, during the day, they would usually see 24 to 35 porpoises. And now they're only seeing 5. So what is happening? They have lost almost 30 porpoises. Let's find out if they have anything more to say. "Exactly. That's just what I saw," the fisherman shrugged. Jada typed as fast as she could onto her tablet. "And did you happen to notice any other odd behavior?" "Not that I can recall this very minute," the fisherman continued, "but that barge that came out of nowhere sure dredged up a mess, scaring our fish so badly that all of us headed home with empty coolers." They have empty coolers. They caught no fish. No fish that day. The other fisherman grumbled in agreement. It said DDJ on the side of it. Or at least I think that's what it said. It was hard to see, the fisherman continued. "Thank you," Cam said. "Do you mind if we come back if we have other questions?" Anytime, said the fisherman. All right, those fishermen told us a lot, 4th graders. So I am going to pull up. So we have a think, pair, share. So they told us a lot of information. So our first think, pair, share question is, what important information did the fishermen tell the science squad? They told us a lot. So remember, first you're going to think on your own. I shouldn't see any hands right now. We're taking the time to think on our own, think back. What just happened in these 2 or 3 pages? That was a lot of information they told us. If you need to look back at your book to remind yourself of the specific things they said, that is a great idea. Bailey and Caroline, you two are going to discuss our question. Can I get a thumbs up? You can see our question. I think fair share. Perfect. All right, so we got new seats. So I'm going to tell you who your partners are for today. Emily, you'll work with Costa. Grace, you'll work with Zier. Belle, you'll work with Annabelle. Taven with Cooper. Jenny with Marie. Aaliyah, you'll work with Rose. Yes. Don't worry about it, guys. We got it. Aaliyah, you'll work with Rose. Carly, you'll work with Adriana. And Oliver and Georgie, you'll scooch in a little bit and you'll work together. All right, so we've had some time to think on our own, so now we're going to pair together and share with our partners.
Said that the fishermen don't tell a lot of what is new on the ocean, and those fishermen did. And the fact that we saw DDJ, the fact that we saw
as a group, what were some of these important things that the fishermen told our science squad? What is one of them, Emily?
So the Dr. Loomer said not a lot of the fishermen tell their secrets about what happens on the ocean.
Ooh.
And the fact that they saw DDJ in the ocean on one of the boats, we saw it in the taxi when the guy took the back and
Yes.
DDJ. The fact that the fisherman told what happened is kind of good. It's got a lot of information about the purposes.
Yeah. Oh, Emily, I love that you brought up. Dr. Bloomman said before they went out to the fishermen that usually they don't share their secrets. So we got really lucky with the science squad. They told us this information. And if you turn back to page 16, we've seen those initials DDJ before. That was this man with the briefcase in the suit that stole the science squad's taxi. He looked very what was that word we used to describe him, Marie?
Suspicious?
We said he's suspicious. Why did we say he's suspicious? What about how he looks? There's a couple things. What's one, Jenny?
Like, because he's like in a suit and he's like all black.
Yeah, he's in a suit. He's in a suit at the beach. That's a little weird. He's got sunglasses on, and he is hugging that briefcase. He does not want anyone to get that briefcase. So that's where we've seen those initials DDJ before. So I have a feeling that's not the last time we're going to see those initials. So hopefully we find out more about that. What is the other thing that the fishermen told us, specifically about the porpoises? Adriana?
There were only more there's 24 to 35 dolphins, porpoises that they see. Like there was only 6 or 7 in a pod. Then there was 3 in a pod and 2 in a
Yeah. So they used to see 24 to 35 porpoises a day. They would see them in the early mornings. That's when they would come up. So dolphins swim in pods. So they swim in big groups. And they told us they only saw one pod. And there were only 3 porpoises in them. So it's not even a full-size pod. Even that group has a smaller amount of dolphins. So the science squad has a lot of information that they got from the fishermen. Is there anything else, Annabelle?
The fisherman told us that the mountain porpoises before the bugs came and the mountain porpoises after the bugs came.
Perfect. So they also told us that the barge came and then the number of porpoises started to change. They said that they didn't catch any fish the day that the barge came. It made a big mess. So 4th graders, we're going to continue reading to figure out what is going on here. Yes. Yes, ma'am. All right, we are on page 28. So we see our science squad, they're sitting at a table. One of our science squad members, he's got a drink. It seems like they are kind of cooling down from the research they've been doing this morning and kind of thinking about all the information they got, just like we just did. Well, that was interesting, said Jada as they walked up to the beach. Cam nodded in agreement. Let's get a snack and wait for the others to get back, he suggested. They headed to a nearby crab shack and sat down at a table. Jada started snapping pictures of the view as they waited for their food to arrive. So they're kind of taking a break. So meanwhile, the rented outboard motorboat rocked in the current as Kate put on her diving gear and pulled a camera and some sample bottles out of her backpack. Then she attached the underwater camera and the water sample bottle to her diving belt, checked their location on her tablet, and compared it to the barge's location. So she's decided to get the water sample in the deep waters where the barge was. I think that is a very smart idea. She wants to see what's going on with the water around that spot. So they got the coordinates from Dr. Gludman. So she knows the exact spot the barge is at. So she attached the underwater camera and the water sample bottle to her diving belt, checked their location on her tablet, and compared it to the barge's location. They were on target. Okay, I'm ready, she told Reggie. Good luck and be careful. I'll be here when you come up. Turn to the next page. Kate saluted him, flicked backwards into the water, and disappeared into the depths. It's beautiful down here, she thought. She definitely did not say that because she was underwater. She began snapping pictures and recording the temperature and her depth below the surface. She got the water sample and recorded the temperature again. Looking down, she realized the water below her looked murky and muddy, and there were no fish. In fact, she was the only thing swimming around. It was strange that there weren't any fish in this part of the ocean. After all, it wasn't that far offshore. Kate dove deeper. She could only just make out a structure that reminded her of playground equipment. A jungle gym and an enclosed slide. She snapped pictures but didn't expect to see anything because of the shadowy water. Then she slowly rose to the surface. It took you long enough, Reggie said when her head bobbed up from the ocean. She glared at him through her mask. Thank you, Kate, Reggie said. That's more like it, Kate said as she handed Reggie the water sample, thermometer, and camera. Then she removed her diving gear. Let's go back to the hotel so you can analyze this sample. I have a feeling it will be totally different from the first sample. I bet our deep seawater will have some answers. Also, I have some pictures I want to scrutinize. Fourth graders, what does that word scrutinize mean? That's a big vocab word. Carly? Examine, but it means to examine very, very closely. If you scrutinize something, you're critiquing it and you're not letting anything back. You are giving all your opinions out, so scrutinizing. All right, fourth graders, we're going to do our next think, pair, share. So what did Kate observe during her ocean dive? So that was Kate underneath the water. What did she see there? So we're going to take first our second to think on our own. This is your time. You can look back, reread some sections if you want in the book. What did Kate observe during her ocean dive? Remember that observe word means to see. That's what scientists do when they're trying to find an answer to their question. Now we are going to pair with our partner and discuss. Right, Caroline, what did Kate observe during her ocean dive? Yes, so she didn't see much at all, but that was very odd. That wasn't normal for her to not see. But she did kind of see something towards the bottom. What did she say it looked like, Caroline? She said it kind of looked like a jungle gym. Jungle gym, but she couldn't really tell. So she took a lot of pictures, and now she's going to look at those pictures when she's out of the water. She couldn't stay down in the water for too long. So that is awesome. We're going to share as a group real soon. All right, fourth graders, we are going to gather as a group. Zier?
She said that she saw like an underground water playground, and that she said that she also saw like an enclosed slide, and that that there was no fish, and she said, matter of fact, I was the only swimming thing down there.
Yeah, so Kate was down there and she was the only thing swimming. That is very strange, fourth graders, for them to find a part of the ocean where nothing's swimming, because even when you go into the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, miles deep down, there are still living creatures there. There are very funky looking creatures. They look a lot different than the fish we think of, but they're still living there. So the fact that there is nothing here is very, very strange. Thank you for sharing, Zier. What else did you see? So Zier mentioned this briefly, but what was the structure that she saw? What did it kind of look like? Cooper?
It looked like a swing set, and a slide was blocked off.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a playground, like a jungle gym, on an enclosed side. So while Kate was down there, she couldn't really tell what this was. Could Kate stay down there for a long time? Can I give a thumbs up she could stay down there for a long time? Or thumbs down, she only had so much time she could be there? Yeah, I see a lot of thumbs down. So Kate, thank you, Zia. Yeah, she only had so much oxygen with her because she wasn't snorkeling like the family was. She had kind of scuba gear. So you can look in the picture on here. She had a mask and this piece over her mouth that was connected to some oxygen tanks on her back, and that's how she would breathe. So she could only stay down there for so long. And we remember Reggie was like, oh, that took you long enough. Is that another example of how they're friendly? He was kind of joking, yeah, like, oh, it took you long enough. I'm sitting here on a boat. It's probably hot, and he's waiting for her to come down. So we have seen a lot of things today, fourth graders. Our science squad, I think they are very close to figuring out what is going on. So what we have been doing is talking about sequence. Every day that I ask you what has happened in our story, I ask you and you tell me in order. So the sequence of our story is very important. So we see that our science squad went from not knowing anything and traveling over, and then they slowly see more people and get more clues to what is going on. So when we first started to read, we did a picture walk with our book, and we just looked at the pictures and read the title, and we tried to figure out what this story was about. So now we are towards the end of our book, and I want you to do the same thing. But now knowing what you know in the story so far. So we know our problem. We know that there are sick porpoises. But we don't know how this story is going to end yet. But we're going to make an inference, make a guess based on what we know so far to how this story is going to end. So we see our sick porpoises. We see that DDJ popping up. So I would like you to take out a piece of small notebook paper. Just a piece of small notebook paper. Yeah, they sleep on mats like that. So I want you to take out a small piece of notebook paper. Same for you, Caroline and Bailey. You just have a piece of notebook paper. notebook paper out, please put your name up at the top. And please put today's date. Today is 12/9/20. Because I have your other inferences, so I want to see what's changed since then. Yeah, you guys don't have it. I have them.
December 9th?
Today is December 9th.
Wait,
No. No. Fourth graders, if you remember far back when we started this book, I had you write, I infer this will happen in Porpoises in Peril because. And you wrote that out, and I collected them. So you should not have them. I have them. So I want you to do the same thing again. We're going to infer how the story is going to end. So please have your name and date up at the top. Yes, Carly?
would we add the fisherman on Thursday?
We will do that later, but we're just focusing on this for now. So I'm going to take a second to think about all that we have seen so far in our story. We have a lot more information than when we started. I infer that. So I infer that blank, how our story is going to end. So what is going to happen to the porpoises? Are they going to find out what's going on? I inferred that blank will happen because, and you are going to give me a reason. You are going to use the information you've seen in the story to support your inference. So I infer blank because. So this can be all different types of inferences. It can be whether they're going to find out what's going on, who you think maybe is causing all the problems with the porpoises, what's going to happen to them. And put your reasoning because, and you're going to put what you know, what you have seen. We call that our evidence. Our evidence in the story. So you're not just saying, I think the dolphins are going to start walking on the beach. What? That wouldn't make any sense in our story. First off, because this is a realistic fiction book. This could happen in real life. Everything happening is real. If our porpoises just started walking on the beach and they started talking to us and told us what happened in the water, that would not make sense at all. That'd be very strange. So we won't have kind of responses like that. It would be a little bit different. It would be something that could really happen, and we would use what we know in the story to explain it. because. Miss Caroline, do you have a question? All right, fourth graders, we're going to take a few more minutes to wrap up writing. When you are done, you will show me that you are done. The only thing you will have, you will put away your green folder, your porpoises in peril, any of that material. You will leave your response on your desk, and you will take out math simple solutions. So that's how you'll show me that you're done, and I can come and collect. Put all your porpoises in peril materials away except for your response, and you will take out your math simple solutions. Right, girls, and a reminder that Porpoises in Peril is on Google Classroom. So if there's any part you would ever want to read over, if we have some spare time. Okay, Bailey, yeah, you have yours. That's awesome. So Caroline, remember it's on there, so if you need to read over anything, it's there for you.
My math truth. Oliver. My math